This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
So here are the four pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, and the Euro Swiss. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. First chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during the last report I mentioned possibility of waiting for prices to form a B wave here. I was looking for an A, B, and then a C wave down to the former resistance level, which might now act as support near the 88.50 area. So that's the target. So right now, for aggressive shorter-term traders, I would have a slight bearish bias against this high right here, about the 92.44 area. But with prices right now about 91.07, it's a little bit too far away, obviously, for favorable risk to reward. So I might look for prices to get closer to that 92 figure to put on that trade. Longer term, again, I'm waiting for prices to come down and hit that 88.50 area. So for longer term traders, we might look at that level, look to enter maybe just above it with a stop maybe 25 to 30 pips beneath the level. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and not much has changed here. Again, the short off this doji candle right here, this trade continues. I mentioned that if you were in that trade, to exit maybe around at least a portion of the position near about the 122 area, and to hold the rest. Moving forward now, it looks like prices could attempt to move up to that upper resistance line. I just don't see any favorable entries at this point. What I want to see is prices coming up and testing this line right here. We might look to enter maybe a few pips beneath the line with a stop, maybe 50 to 75 pips above the line. If you are still in that trade that I mentioned off this doji candle here, I might exit the rest of the position right now. It just in my mind's eye, it looks like prices could be heading upwards. But again, we've already made profits on half the position, so there's nothing wrong with holding that position and waiting for prices to come back up, and even holding the losses. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The next chart is the Pound Swiss, and this is a good example here of, and I wanted to use this as an opportunity to speak about the markets and the tendencies in the market. And here's a situation where a resistance line fails, and then, as I was mentioning during the past several reports, I was waiting for prices to come down and test the line, and they did so. However, there was a brief close beneath the line, and this is life. This is real trading in terms of it's going to be messy sometimes. So right here, and this is about 30 to 40 pips beneath the line, we had the close. So personally, I was stopped out on this trade as prices did then close back beneath the level, but then we could see prices rallying on the next candle. And I can't impart to you how important it is when things like this happen to just move forward and focus on the next trade, because this will happen, especially in trading, and it's learning how to deal with these losses and making sure losses like this are very small, which is the difference between successful and unsuccessful trading. So moving forward now, again, as this just a little messy in my opinion, so I'm going to be on the sidelines personally on this pair, but slightly aggressive traders might again look for this line to act as support moving forward. But I would exit on any move, not even a close, just any move, maybe I'd say about 15 to 20 pips beneath this line. The last chart is the Euro Swiss, and prices now in the apex of this triangle. Again, this pattern getting very mature. Let me zoom in a little bit. I was mentioning how I'm favoring an upside breakout. Ideally, I was looking for prices to come down and test the longer term support line here, so we can be in the trade and at least hold a portion of the position just in case there was an upside breakout. But as we can see, prices never came down far enough for a favorable risk to reward entry, at least in my terms. Maybe you at home were able to enter. So moving forward now with prices at this resistance line, again, just in my mind's eye, I just favor an upside breakout here. The more times the resistance line is tested, the more likely it is to fail in my experience. But again, if you're flat or have no position, I would wait until there actually is a breakout. In terms of entering a bearish trade here or shorting the pair, personally I would just shy away from that again, because I do just favor an eventual upside breakout. Of course, I could be wrong, and this line might very well act as resistance, and maybe aggressive shorter term traders can take a shot here, maybe with a 20 or 30 pip stop. And of course, if you are stopped out, that means that there is a breakout, and at that point you might flip over to the long side. However, I just always caution against flipping, but in this situation and the maturity of the pattern, again, this is from what is this date here, from July of 2008. So again, a year and a half pattern here almost, and if there is a breakout, there could be substantial upside gains. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX forums. I want to go ahead and formally welcome everybody to the DailyFX forum. And I want to explain a little bit about the forum and the wealth of information that you can obtain from the forum and how to go about doing so, how to find the things you want. So I'm just going to dive right in right now. And this is DailyFX.com, and this is usually how I navigate my way towards the forums. Obviously, you know, it really depends on each individual how they access the forums, but this is how I go ahead and do it. I go DailyFX.com, go ahead and click on the forum on top, and this brings you to the DailyFX forum homepage, and this highlights the most recent posts with the subject. So if you see anything that you're interested in, you can obviously go ahead and click. What I like to do is click on the forums tab like this, and go ahead and view the forums in the normal, typical way that forums are set up. And here you go, there are a bunch of threads down here. And I'm just going to go ahead and go directly to the forum, the video you just viewed, where you viewed it. So let's go ahead. This is the DailyFX Instructor Tips Forum, Identifying Trades with DailyFX. That's me. And go ahead and click on the most recent post. So this is where you are right now viewing the video, although the video will be the video beneath this one that you're watching right now. So normally when I'm on the forums, and what I would do is just scroll up to the top. Certainly you can check out any of my previous videos, and you know, especially if I did mention them in the report or in the video that you're viewing at that moment. And what I will do is go ahead and click on the forums, and then look for the forums that I like, you know, that I have interest in. One of them would be the Euro-Dollar forum, and this, again, it's really up to each individual trader as to exactly how they want to use the forum. Personally, what I like to do, the first thing I do is I'll go to the Euro-Dollar thread, I'll go and click on the latest post. And what I'll do here is, and again, I just want to, you know, really emphasize this point. It depends on your exact mindset when you're viewing. And me as a trader, I have some experience. So what I do and how I personally use the forum is I go through and I'll read what people are saying about the euro, what their trade ideas are. I certainly, you know, try to maintain my own individual objectivity, and I really don't pay much attention to what other traders are saying in terms of my trading. I'm not going to certainly see something on a forum and then go jump into a trade, but what it will do, it will open my eyes to certain trading opportunities, maybe a certain line or a certain time frame that I haven't looked at before. So that's one way that I personally like to utilize the DailyFX forum. But certainly for newer traders, there are plenty of topics that you can go over. Let's say, you know, you might not be well versed in terms of certain currency pairs that you want to learn about. Scalping, you might not know what Elliott wave is. You can go ahead and click there and see exactly what you can, you know, what you can understand, what you might not understand, and then certainly feel free to ask questions about any of these topics that you have. Maybe the carry trade, maybe you have some questions about that, or the sentiment, the SSI, or the latest economic news, FX programmers, the webinars, MT4. Any questions about active trader, you can go ahead and click on those threads. So again, it's very free, very open, and there is a wealth of information here and just waiting for to be utilized. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening.